Let's do it while we can.
There you are.
Yeah.
Um, NASA astronauts Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams look like they're going to be residents on the International Space Station until 2025 after the Boeing rocket sprang a leak. He couldn't bring them back to Earth
Yeah.
and then wait there. It appears that only then will it be possible to send a rescue rocket, which,
Mhm.
for all intents and purposes, it will be a rescue rocket.
Yeah.
Probably an Elon Musk rocket to replace the faulty Boeing one,
Hmm.
which of course will humiliate Boeing yet again next year when the
Yeah.
Musk goes up and brings them back.
Yeah.
Especially if it lands, vertical.
Yeah.
That'd be a that'd be a
Yeah.
kick in the teeth for Boeing.
Yes.
There you are. Now, according to researchers, long stretches in space can cause bone density loss,
Hmm.
muscle atrophy,
Yeah.
intense radiation exposure,
Yeah.
vision problems,
Yeah.
along with other health issues. They say that if you've been in space for a prolonged period of time, you can't drive a car for like 2 or 3 weeks afterwards
Mm.
because you
Yeah.
you see. Yeah. Still, time will tell us, and let's see what happens with them.
Mm.
Okay. Now, talking about NASA, as I
Mm.
was,
Yeah.
we've all seen those images of distant galaxies,
Yeah.
and also of our own solar system that
Mm.
NASA sends out the sonders and then they send the radio back these
Yeah.
images.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it turns out we've been duped. Um, they're not real photos. They are images created by scientists of what they
Yeah.
think lies out there.
Yeah. That's not new,
Alex
but yeah.
Alexander Dayton,
Mm.
ex-NASA space analyst and science content creator, explained that of the full images of our solar system, none of them is an actual is an actual image, natural image, but all are creations of ideas of what it might look like.
Mm.
Uh, Boffins, as she's the science content creator, they'll tell her what they
Yeah.
want, and she'll
Yeah.
create it for them, and then stick it on the internet. So this begs the question, of course, what else is NASA not telling us? Because NASA should put on their images uh, it, scientists thought of what the image is going to be, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't. They put it out there as if it's the real thing.
Mm.
Now, of course, logic is going to tell us that distances in space are measured in light years, right?
Hmm.
And NASA hasn't created a vehicle to travel that fast, not even close to light
Well,
years.
you're not going to. Never. That's never going to happen. But yeah. Okay.
And even if they did to have radio images sent back to Earth, it would take decades, if not centuries.
Mm.
After all, if we can still see a star while it's gone, well, it's
Mm.
already extinguished uh, many years ago, of course. The
Yeah.
lights, we can still see the light from it as it's still en route to this planet.
Mm.
It's still arriving. So imagine radio waves, how long they're going to take.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you get long waves, short waves, and if yeah, okay. But then, yeah.
So even if it's an unwritten rule that NASA images are not real or natural, if you like,
Mm.
they can buy a camera.
Mm.
Surely it will be on NASA to declare artists' impression on their publications. Uh, Question: are we taking one step back for man and a giant leap back for mankind?
Right. Yeah.
Because it could
Okay.
be, it could be that we've just been watching a cartoon for the last 50 years of what scientists imagine space is like, and not actual images.
Um, I've known since, I started to read about astronomy, about these images that are made, if you like, to demonstrate. It's not deliberately deceitful. It's interpretation. Because if you look in space, it's pretty bland and pretty dark, and you wouldn't really say anything if you ever see a picture made by space. Yeah, I mean, it's if you like look at some of the clouds, where the stars are made, the gaseous clouds. They're bright and everything else. They're probably not like that in reality. It's a dramatic image. It's a demonstration. It's an enhancement. Let's put it that way. I've always known that they're not real images, and every book I've ever had, it said a NASA manipulated or interpreted image. All my astronomy books, I've got some behind me, I've always said that. So
As they should do. Unfortunately, on the NASA site, it doesn't always say that. And I think with these powerful telescopes they've got these days, the most sure they can get to see some of the constellations from closer and take photographs of them.
Really?
But I'm talking about photographs that are deemed to be photographs from not taken from Earth, but taken from another area. Away from Earth. Those are the fantasy of the scientists.
Well, of course they are. Yeah, I mean, the images we might see of Mars, I don't know, but certainly when we're looking back at Earth and very, very enhanced image, it's difficult to do photography. Anyone that knows photography in a dark image, if you take a picture and the same rules apply out there as here, it's like, sometimes like in the image here, we did the first segment of our video earlier, and now we're here when the lights changed and everything else, and we're having to have brighter light to the lights go. For me, it's not actually dishonest, but I've had background understanding. I've always known that. I don't think anyone's gone out to deliberately hoax. It's an understanding. It's an image. It's a representation. I mean, when they are doing surveys, they know roughly what colour things are because of the spectrum they measure. Infrared waves, short waves, I think long waves, infrared, ultraviolet. The longer waves are redshift. So longer waves are the red colour is longer waves. The further out it gets, the redder it gets. They understand all this. So it is a combination of a lot of different data they use to try and do these colorings. Yeah. When we talk about our solar system, that will be enhanced a bit. Because you wouldn't see any details if it wasn't. We can't go in long, we can't go in sort of close and everything else, the equipment they've got.
Well, the thing is, Mark, you're saying that we wouldn't be able to see the details, but we don't know if the details that they put on these images are actual details or if it's something they've just put there anyway.
Artistic license,
Well, and that's the whole crux of the matter. They put their artistic license on something that perhaps they haven't even seen. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. It's you can say you can't photograph.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying they've got to have a film and use film to photograph. They can use electronic imagery, but they need to have something to capture the image that they're wanting to. But they haven't. That's what I'm saying. They've made it up. They've said to somebody in the laboratory, "I want this, that, this, that, this, that." They've made it up and then they published it.
There is science behind it, in defence of them.
There's science behind a lot of things, but what part of the egg has got the most cholesterol? It used to be the yolk, now it's the white, and then it goes back.
Well, okay, but this is. I mean, Yeah, a little bit. Yes, I agree with you. I mean, when they first did the imaging of the Earth and all that, yeah, NASA had to sell the idea of space flight, not necessarily to us, to politicians who released the checkbooks. Yes, that's always been admitted. If you've ever read anything by NASA, that's always admitted. Yeah, yeah, Patrick Moore years ago. Yeah, I think I remember him saying, "Well, this is an image from NASA that has been enhanced." We use terms like this. Even
And
Brian May. Yeah,
I'm all for that. You know,
yeah,
I've no complaints about that because they're saying this image is a fantasy of
yeah,
somebody. But it's when NASA stopped doing that and just
mm,
published the image. And you know, this series Andromeda,
yeah.
is it? Is it
Well,
really?
yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the RR really. What Andromeda looks like more than we know what our own galaxy looks like. We've not been that far out. We can't see our own galaxy. Um, we don't know how many arms it's got. We know it's a spiral galaxy. It's a spiral galaxy. We've
Do
got
we?
measurements
Do
from.
we? Because
Well, no,
all this throws all that in
oh, not. I know where you're coming from. I've done so much reading about it. I mean, I won't say expert, but years of reading for me, just about. Yeah. So um, I'm not a. I'm. How can I put it? I'm coming with your cynicism. Um, I do think. I mean, it's like the women some years ago who led the team and they'd done the black hole. It's a fuzzy image of something. You know what it was. Um, it took a lot of processing to achieve it. Yeah, we've got Hubble up there. Now we've got the James Webb telescope, which hopefully will give us better understanding. NASA don't actually like producing pictures. I'm going to be honest, because pictures don't help scientists. Data helps scientists. Data love number crunching. Well, astronomy is all about number crunching, understanding different values and things. They can't just put us a load of zeros, ones, or a load of mathematics. We'd never understand it. I think they're an achievement to get the images they're doing. Yeah, I mean, there's been cases where they used to have to, yeah, they use computer enhancements now. Yeah, yeah. Um, it is a very, how can I put it? I mean, well, you're very cynical. I understand your question you're asking. Um, I'm saying yes. I've always known it's not. If you look through your telescope, I look through my binoculars at the back here when I can in the clear night. I don't see a lot. It's just nice to see things. Um, and yeah, if you look through a powerful telescope, I mean, if you try and even the first time you see Saturn, for instance, the rings, it's incredible. But it's nowhere near as clear as the imaging that we get from them. And possibly it's not because they sharpen it. They've always done this. They've always sharpened. They've always done things. Yeah. So I've got no real issue with it. It's based on data. Um, based on data, not supposition. Okay. And they do state, it's like I said, the books behind me say, and that's, yeah, and it's admitted that they have added colouring to nebula. Yeah.
there you are. There you are.
Yeah.
There's no complaints about that.
Hmm.
I have no complaints about that. It's
I
just
mean, okay.
where they don't declare. That's all.
Well, I think there's a belief that we know it by now. That, somebody
Do
picks up
we?
a book.
Do we?
Well, you've been telling me, didn't Neil Armstrong did it in a studio next, when the flag on a studio. But
He might just have done.
no, too many people, too many people.
Hey, it's only now I'm finding out that NASA are popping up on their site fake photographs. If it
Well, I
wasn't for
think,
this lady whistleblower,
well, she's not a whistleblower. She's just somebody telling the truth. It's
yeah,
never been denied.
that's what a whistleblower does. tells the
Well,
truth.
to me, she's only saying something that I knew. I mean, it's not as though um, it's been fraudulent. Um,
There you are. You see your hands.
oh, oh dear. I mean, yeah, but we wouldn't know. There wouldn't be the interest in space if there wasn't like it. But yeah, the look, I think I think you're being very, very harsh on a
Yes,
government
yes, I am.
agency.
NASA
Yeah.
is very expensive to run.
Well, yeah. Well,
There you are. Oh,
well, of
it's
course
all
it
right.
is.
They're not using my money, thank goodness. But you know, um, I imagine there's an awful lot of Americans that are really, really brassed off at the moment.
Well, I don't know. I think there's a bit acceptance. I mean, we got the European Space Agency, ESA, yeah, who we have probably contributed to in the past, who do the same thing. They take images and gets to
I don't know. Nobody's mentioned that to me.
well, you look on them, ESA. I mean, yes, they use a lot of NASA. I mean, ESA and NASA work together. They're not rivals, but on everything. Yeah, there is a bit of prestige amongst the scientists who could be the first to establish something. But other than that,
Time, the time a scientist wants to be the first, he cheats a little bit.
oh,
Yes,
well,
yes, some do.
well, yeah. I mean, sometimes they make a guess. As long as you say it's a guess. I mean, this is it. You publish something in the Nature, yeah, and as long as you say this is the data suggests this, that's fair
That's,
enough.
yeah, and I'm all for that.
Yeah.
This is what we think it looks like. This is what
Yeah.
it could be like. I'm all
Yeah.
for that. I'm all
Yeah.
for that. But for saying that this is this, no, no, and not now, not now, not after I read that. No.
I'm afraid you haven't disillusioned me on that one, Steve. Well, I do anyway, and I'm not
Well,
upset.
if you were happy to accept what's given to you on a plate,
Well, look, I know one thing that the Earth is round because I look at planets in the sky. They're round. They're different colours and things like this. Yeah. Okay, I've got no problem with it personally. Okay, I know. I mean, you can look deeper into the data if you want. You can. I mean, I've actually seen it where, admittedly, there are places you can go where you see the original image, and I've got a book behind me, the original image, and the actual image there. So they've not hidden the fact they've done it. Yeah. So for me,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Disillusionment for you, stating the obvious for me, or stating what I already knew, not the obvious, stating what I already knew for me. But they should really stop.
Limited
Yeah.
to that book that you were reading.
No, there's been others as well. I go up for books and
Well, the books that you were reading. The books
yeah.
that you were reading.
Well, I would hope the books I've been reading. I mean, they're fit, okay. But yeah, I've never really been over enamored to look at images. I mean, yeah, we can see the imaging on the sun, even on the moon. Even the imaging on the moon is enhanced when we look at the pictures of it. But you can look through a telescope and you can see the different seas. Yeah. So, but it helps you actually identify the seas. So, from a personal point of view, it's useful. It's things that have already been done before.
We
So,
have
yeah.
we have a telescope on the farm which I use
Yeah.
from time to
Mm.
and to look at the moon and it does make some of these photographs that
Yeah.
are. I mean, if my telescope can produce an image that I
Yeah.
can see, it's crystal clear
Mm.
and makes the moon 10 times the size
Yeah.
what our eyes can see
Yeah.
it, and you can. Then
Yeah.
I imagine that the electronic telescope that they've got at the Vatican,
Mm.
they're gonna see they can see the whites of the aliens' eyes if they're on the moon, you know.
Yeah,
So
it
I think
depends. Yeah.
photos of the moon are quite knitted and quite and I think genuine.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's these where these things are light years away, and
Well,
you know that we're not going to get there. That to me makes it obvious.
but
You know,
that's where they've used data. They're reading data. They're reading different things, almost sound from it, and also the light spectrum.
well,
So they're using.
that's what they like you to believe.
It's science, man. It's science, and the science
Yep.
is always changing. I would agree. Yeah, they're understanding, and they'll say, "Well, we've updated our thinking about this sometimes." Um, yeah,
When you and I are dead and buried, and NASA send up some astronauts in a ship that can fly the speed of light or twice the speed of light, and they get somewhere, they're
that's
going to
it, right.
say, "What is that? It is that it? Is
Well,
that it?"
I'm telling you, that's it now. I already know. It's boring when you get there to see it. So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, look, yeah, yeah, okay. This is something we disagree on, Steve. I'm sorry, mate, but you know, it's a.
So, sorry to burst your bubble, but there you are.
Oh no, you haven't.